It's me. So you're going to sit with me while I fold laundry and talk about Quantum Leap episode 3 and 4. So I finished up episode 3, and I actually wrote notes down instead of just randomly talking about it because I realized that I tend to go off on tangents when I do that. So, for episode 3, right in the middle, I picked up where Janice drugged Beth. Like, we're really steering into Janice being a bad guy here. And I'm okay with it. It's just that I didn't know we were that serious with it. On the plus side, we did see the handling, so woohoo! But, like, at the cost of drugging Beth, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as long as it was like a mild, as long as a mild sedative, it's fine. It's okay drugging, because we got to see the handling again. Like, your television makes you have weird morals. There are certain things that I really love about this show that I forget are like little tidbits that I find enjoyable. For example, it must have been so scary for Ben to watch Addison pass out. And then, like, not know what was going on. Like, how much time had passed when that's doing? And there's nothing, like, there's no one in the universe who you can, like, talk to be like, hey, is Beth okay? You can't call the hospital and be like, she cool? Like, you just have to keep going through the leap with the hopes that, like, she did not die and that you are not stuck there forever. So I thought that was a nice little interesting, terrifying thing that, like, they've reminded us about. Next, Addison, I guess, served in the military. Like, they had not really mentioned that before, but I thought that was an interesting layer to give her, that she served in the military, because it adds an extra stoicism to her, an extra resilience to her, I feel like, for her to have been in the military, instead of just being, I don't mean this in the sexist way it sounds, instead of just being a pretty white girl to, like, go and do things. Like, she does have some training in certain things. So now it makes more sense for her to be a boxer because, like, she learned martial arts to some degree. I want them to give us more, like, here is why these people were qualified to do the things. Like, we see Ian be smart and do computer stuff and stuff like that, and we just have to take for, like, the fact that he's a good computer guy, for example, instead of, like, what experience do they have? What education do they have? What degrees and all that other good stuff do they have? So, like, I'm into that. You know what I mean? Like, I want more, leapy backstory and stuff like that. Like, we learned very early on that Al was in the military, and he always showed up in his military garb. So, like, we got that. You know what I mean? And he was apparently he was a high-ranking dude in the military because he always wore all his chest of medals and stuff like that. And then, we learn also pretty early on that he had been a POW. We learn all kinds of stuff. And I love Al backstory because I can definitely dig into it. So I thought that part was cool. I really enjoyed that this episode, I do want wokeness in my TV shows. We've talked about this before. Like, I enjoy wokeness in my TV shows. And this one was like, let's talk about the impacts of PTSD. And, like, it did it in such a smooth way. Like, it didn't do it, like, hardcore, instantly whatever. It like, gradually crept up, like, in certain decisions he made. So, at first, you're thinking that, like, he's just, the main brother guy is all upset because he's up to his eyeballs in debt, and he really needs them to, like, take care of stuff. But then you eventually find out that it's just the PTSD is really starting to catch up with him, in various things he does. Like, they hinted at it when he was, like, baby killer and shit like that, which, what kind of fucking shit is that to say? And then it got worse and worse as time went on. Like I said, I really enjoyed that we did a kind examination of PTSD with this guy. Ben deciding, like, making a split-second decision to also call the cops pigs so he can go with his brother best acting. Like, I feel like this is the best acting he's done so far. So, basically calling them pigs, like all of a sudden the anger in his face. And then the entire speech that he gives in the prison, like, I genuinely believed that Ben was related to this guy. And that, I think that's like one of the things that we really loved about Sam, is that Sam he was so earnest and empathetic that he instantly would like become, I'm about to fold a fitted sheet, so don't judge me with how horribly I'm going to do this. So I like that he had flat out been like, no, like, you know, I don't want you to die. I need you. All that other good stuff. It was beautifully done. It was like the best acting he's done so far. And I believed it. And like I said, Sam was very good at balancing earnestness with empathy. And you genuinely feel like he did a good job of like conveying genuine emotion. See, it was horrible. To the people who he was trying to rescue. So well done on this one, Ben. I feel like you're starting to slowly redeem yourself instead of being like, what? With various things. So I like that. I don't know if you caught it, but during the fight, when, after Ben is supposed to have knocked the guy out and he gets up at the count of 9 and stuff like that, and Addison's like, I don't know what's going on. She hits Ziggy, like the new little circular Ziggy, the way that we were used to Al doing it. And I thought it was a nice little callback to like something that is so notoriously Al. So it was nice that it's like not just an irritating thing that Al did. It's, you know, Ziggy's irritating in general, no matter what the device looks like. Especially Ziggy running slow with all the shit that's going on in the background. That's something you keep getting stuck at. Like, they keep being like, Ziggy's running slow. And you're like, okay, what is the cause? How do we speed him up? It seems like they're never like, well, we did this to speed him up. Instead, they're like, well, he's running slow, so hang on the wire. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of getting frustrated with the amount of Ziggy's running slow, so just deal with it for now thing. It's just dumb. But Ziggy was always wonky as it was. Where am I? One other thing I was going to mention here is that every now and again in Quantum, in the original Quantum, we used to reference the person being back in the imaging chamber, being like, what the fuck is going on? We haven't really referenced that here. So you said this a few episodes ago, where you were totally like, I really wish that they'd explain to new people how, like, that works. I'm starting to, like, wonder what's happening with the person in the imaging chamber. Like, are they confused? Did you talk, like, did Addison have 2 words with them? Who is comforting the imaging chamber human who's freaking the fuck out right now? Like, what's happening? Where did they go? Are they still doing the imaging chamber or whatever? That's something they haven't mentioned yet, and I don't like that. I wish that they would. By the way, I haven't watched your video, so I'm wondering if you mentioned the same thing. I should have watched yours first and then done this, but whatever. So there's that. The next thing, I like that he had like the little sweet romantic Addison memory when he got knocked out. It was like, come on, bud, like something's got to start like triggering in your brain that like you know this person and shit. But it didn't really, you know, work itself out, but whatever. So I thought that was cool. All right, so that's 3, and now I'm going to 4. I really did actually laugh out loud in when he jumped into the woman. First time Ben has jumped into a woman. And Addison shows up and she's like, 5 minutes of being a woman and you've been assaulted, abused, and insulted. Sounds right. So I laughed there because I was like, fucking A right. I will say I actually enjoyed how much Addison was having a great time in this episode. Like, she was having a phenomenal time watching him deal with shit that women have to deal with all the time. So I actually enjoyed that because I want it to happen. Oh, the other thing I was thinking of is when the other original quantum thing that happened, we also haven't mentioned as well, now that my brain is also going into all these things. When Sam leaps into these people, when Sam used to leap into these people, Sam didn't look like Sam. Instead, Sam looked like whoever he was taking the place of. I don't know if we're still doing that in this case, because if we are, then, like, I don't know. It's got to be confusing for Addison in some way, shape, or form. If he's not, then, like, some of this doesn't make sense. So then, like, you know, she got a little bit of jealousy with that other chick being, in episode 3, being all over her man. And then, like, she had almost, like, a hint of jealousy when it came to Oliver Queen being all over her man. But, like, I don't know if it was jealousy or, you know, she understands how he feels and whatever. I don't know. But we didn't mention that here either. So that's something that I want them to address as well. Oliver Queen! Also, one of the main characters from, what the frick is the show? This Is Us. Like, so soon after gaining some work. Like, I'm not mad at it because he's not horrible to look at. And I feel like he pulled out his This Is Us, like, I love you, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was cute, because it was like, oh, Oliver, that's adorable. So anyway, that was great. The magic reveal made me so mad at myself, I cannot begin to explain it to you, because I loved that episode where he jumped into... So, like, that episode was... I feel like that was like a string of episodes where he jumped into people all around that situation, if I'm remembering correctly, right? Where he was Tom, his brother, or some shit, and then he was Magic, and then he was like someone else or something. I don't remember. But I do remember Magic, and I remember the storyline with his brother and stuff like that. And I gasped at the reveal because I was like, oh my God, I love that episode, because it was like, it was Sam's chance to, like, put something right in his own lifetime that went wrong, which is lovely. And like I said, I'm mad at myself for not remembering why it was so obvious with Magic. One thing that they did that we've never heard before that I absolutely really loved is having a Leap-Ease reaction. Like, we've never had a Leap-E go ahead and say, here was my experience after Sam leaped into me. Never happened before. Loved it. Because I love the concept of, you know, you let it happen, and then you blacked out, and then you woke up, and then shit was like that. Like tell me more about that. And then what long-term ramifications are there thereafter? It sounds like, you know, there is some underlying memory of Sam's time with you, you know, or of Sam in general, you know what I mean? Which is amazing because, you know, think about the number of people that he's impacted. Like, that's amazing. I want to hear more about that. So I loved that. That's probably my favorite part of the episode so far, and something that actually, like, I feel like is one of the major turning the tides for me things for this show. Give me more of that. Give me things I haven't thought about that are very thoughtful about the show. Perspectives you haven't done. As frustrated as I am with, like, let's talk about the things that we have talked about in the past. How about we also talk about the things we never talked about? Like, I'm into that. We're gonna skip that one and go to the end. The bad parking tickets girl, like, saw that one coming. You know what I mean? I watched enough television to see that coming. Convenient 2022 theory that it was really La Serpiente was run by a woman. Convenient. Apparently, are we really this smart in this year? Because I don't feel like we are. I really don't. So it's fine. Whatever. I did laugh. I do like when they're some of the characters are smarter than we think they are. Like, you know, Oliver Queen being like, oh, we know that Princess Di and Charles are never going to last. You're like, yeah, they're not. It's going to go horribly wrong, but it's fine. I do like cute little sidebars. Like, I like his little Christmas. I'm going to propose at Christmas. And, like, they had to do that. So it was sweet that, like, how did they find this out? Like it was a cross between Addison finding out. So I got a little messed up there. I was like, maybe I missed it early on in the episode or something like that. But like, I'm pretty sure that you can't look into like a directory and be like, what did he get me for our first Christmas together? Maybe they told a story about it earlier or something. But like, I don't think that Ziggy is that robust to have all of that kind of information. Just a thought. One of the things that they did mention was kind of terrifying is Janice using predictive software for them. That is kind of scary, like having a big bad. So if we think about the Evil Leaper, we haven't talked about the Evil Leaper yet. So the Evil Leaper was probably the closest they could come to a really big bad guy, because it was totally like, it uses a similar software, but in the reverse, to put wrong once went right. You know what I mean? I imagine that they could use something similar to that. I'm also curious if Janice is like had Evil Leaper ideologies and stuff like that with what she's doing, but whatever. So yeah, I find it a little scary, but I also find it like, guys, you should have figured out a way to combat this by now. Like, you know, you had the Evil Leaper with all this stuff. You should be able to combat someone who can follow your predictive stuff. I feel like there's just a lot you can do with this, but whatever. It is what it is. The team themselves, the team is growing on me, if for no other reason than to go ahead and add additional context to life across Quantum Leap, not just for Ben. I'm thinking it might just be a first season kind of vibe, but I don't know. I think that taking the approach that you were talking about, treating it as though it was a supplemental Quantum Leap thing, might be a good a good idea to do. Think of it more like, what's a good way to put this? I don't know. I'm trying to use Star Trek references, but everything is canon for you. But I would like to think of it as like Lower Decks, basically. Like, Lower Decks is canon-ish, but it tips back, like you had said, in meta, in like all different kinds of ways. You know what I mean? Are we gonna shoot Kennedy and stuff like that? And that is okay with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay if it goes in and out of the universe to do its own thing. That's fine. I'm fine with it. I just need it to have quality writing and acting, with an occasional hat tip to the show we love and know. Very similar to, you know, how Lower Decks, which does not possess peanut hamper episodes. Finally, you know, every time that we have a leap, I'm always trying to be like, what was the point of this leap? What lessons would we have learned here? And I feel like the whole point of this leap, as we discover, wasn't necessarily to like capture that chick or to make sure that Ava and Oliver Queen end up together. Instead, I feel like it was supposed to help Ben have realized who Addison is to him. Like, that's what I think the whole point of the leap is. This leap was, at least. To see, you know, how they all feel. And, like, that... I like the recognition on both of their faces. And, of course, I'm waiting for the devastation, rightfully so, of, like, them trying to touch her hand going through him. And then leaping right as, like, they're looking into each other's eyes. I'm also imagining that he's probably going to forget this next week. Or next episode, which is, I think, out today. But I don't have a moment to do that. Anyway, so there's that. Yay, last but not least, yay for Cowboy Town. I said this last video too. Yay for going outside of your timeline. Fucking yay. I cannot explain to you how excited I am for going outside of your timeline. And not just a little ordinary outside of your timeline, like we're going to Cowboy Times. Unless we're going magically to Wild West City. Yay for Cowboy Times. So anyway, tell me what you think. This is a long one, so it's fine. All right, we'll talk soon. All right, bye.